Hey, welcome to another episode of the Off Topic Podcast. Off Topic, where real life brings laughter, lessons, and uplifts. And this is our 25th episode. Can we get a round of applause? 25th episode. This will be the end of season 1 for us. So, what an accomplishment. So, yeah. So, how's everybody doing?
Pretty good.
Good.
Good. How are you?
Pretty good week.
Yeah, it was pretty straightforward. It was a little rough, actually. Last week was a little
busy,
a little tough, but we made it. We made it to another week, so that's always a blessing.
Oh, definitely. So you pushed through and made it. Live to see another day.
Absolutely.
As they say, yes. Okay. Any highlights for anybody for their week? Standouts?
My birthday, Leo season.
Happy belated birthday!
What did you do for your special day? What is this we got going on here? I love it.
Thank you. Birthday. Yes, like what? Hayward, tell him. These give birthday description.
It's a what now?
No, I just said a full body wave. I don't know if that's what it's called. It just
body wave.
And now you're a beautician?
Not at all. I'm not trying to take your spot. I'm not trying to take your spot.
Right.
Ain't that it? You won't let me twist that hair, so you obviously don't believe.
I mean, it needs to be retwisted. So I mean, no, it's not.
He said, let me get in that chair.
Uh-huh. Exactly. But no, seriously, I love that, Stovall.
Thank you.
You gonna pin it up for this week though, because you're gonna go with all on your neck.
Baby, I know.
Baby, I know.
I have my soft pull ties as we speak because yes.
Yeah.
But how you from Vegas to 100 and
a little bit.
Huh?
I said it'd be so pretty when that first do it, you want to wear it down for a little bit, but then you want to put it up.
So what did you tell us? What did you do for your birthday?
Actually, I didn't do anything yet. I just had dinner. I did do something. I had dinner with my grandson, my daughter, of course, and my sister, my baby sister. Actually, we went to Cheddar's.
Okay.
Yeah. So just Christy came out of the box. She came outside of the 465 area and joined me for dinner. So that was good. Yeah.
Did she clean out that purse?
No, she didn't have time to clean out the purse. We were on the move a little bit. She was so hungry, she smashed that food. So we had a good time. So just sprinkles of stuff here and there and trying to make it through. I don't know. I wasn't big on this party this year. Everybody was waiting for it. So I don't know. We'll figure it out. I got some other stuff that I'm trying to get done. So we'll see how the birthday unfolds.
Go ahead.
I said, we'll see how the birthday unfolds.
Can
y'all hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you got a big trip coming up, so that should be fun.
Yes. Yeah.
And that'll be a celebration within itself.
Within itself, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, Mama Kim, how was your week been?
It was really, really busy. But I got to spend time with my son-in-law yesterday, and we did this little thing that we trying to do for our life.
Okay.
Oh yes, the photo shoot. How did that go?
It went very well.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Yes. So September the 8th, Hayward, we expect you to be in the presence of the greatness.
I will be there.
Okay. Yeah. We got some things for y'all to try out and
oh, hallelujah.
Give some feedback.
Okay.
Yes.
Ronnie, how was your week been?
Busy but good. Very busy but good. Have just sports, school. Kids started school, and everybody's in high school. Everybody's in one spot. I love it.
You got a little soccer star too,
baby. Can't tell them a thing. Okay. When it was over, I had to stop him from taking the jersey shirt off, sir.
Little cuz was ready to give them everything that they needed to have.
We didn't need that. We're good, buddy. You're good. Let's just get in the car. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
We had a good. It was busy, buddy. That's gonna be my life till October, till volleyball and soccer's over. That's it.
Okay, well, good. Now, Hayward, I know you said it's been rough, but you pushed through.
I did.
Any notable things to discuss?
Not specifically. The week was relatively underwhelming. Work was just kind of crazy. It was just like really, really busy. But there's nothing specific that really stood out, like for real. This past week, outside of, I'll say Friday night maybe. I had a couple of friends came over, and we just hung out, talked, and like everything. So that was really cool. Yeah.
Oh, you had a couple of friends come over.
Yeah.
Damn, more else.
I'm not even playing into that because Friday nights are date nights, so I don't even. That's an unspoken rule. Am I wrong? Did that change?
This phone didn't ring.
Did that change?
Phone didn't ring, but
nonetheless. Did Friday night date nights change? No, you can't hear.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. I said Friday night date nights didn't change.
I don't even. I'm just wondering. We didn't even get an invite. But I'm glad you guys had a wonderful evening amongst friends.
Y'all are crazy as heck.
Quite.
Right.
Amongst friends, a great weekend amongst friends. I'm glad that everything went well. You had fellowship. Fellowship. Is that what it was?
These glasses.
Yeah.
Right.
Listen, the older I get, the more I'm realizing I need them. So I try to be. I thought it's weird. I thought it was cute to wear them as a what I used to call them a conversation piece when I didn't need them, and now that you need them, I feel like I don't really be wanting to wear them, but I have to.
Why don't you why don't you wear them all the time?
Well, mind over matter, probably. I want to, feel like I'm not my eyesight's not leaving me, and though it really is, because it started off with you have to do that. Now I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
So
and don't accidentally leave out driving and forget them, because baby.
Oh wait. Ooh, well, I mean, let people tell it. I ain't the best driver anyway, so.
You need to keep your parent in the car, Mario. Keep your parent in the car, baby.
No, y'all probably need to transition to contacts at this point.
I don't know if I can do that.
I can get that close to my. I don't think I could do it.
Yeah, I don't know. If I
you never use contacts, really?
Huh. Kim, you got glasses or you got contacts or nothing?
I have glasses. I only use them at work.
Oh,
you got glasses?
I do.
I ain't never seen you with no glasses on.
You have, because we have talked while I was at work, and you was like, "Oh, you wear glasses?" And
but they're readers. They're not for astigma.
No, sweetheart. They are.
Let's be clear. No. We talked. Let's clear this up. We talked about business while at work.
We did, but I still have my glasses on.
I think we have no social calls. We talked about business while at work.
When we on the work computer, it's work. Now, if you would have texted me, and you might not have seen the glasses, but on work, I do wear my glasses while I'm at work.
I don't have to think back and remember that is. But anyway, glad that everybody's pushing through and had a good week. Stovall, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Leo season.
But how was your week? Because I have a question. I have to ask about yours, Mario. Because baby, listen, I didn't get to see your swim skills when I was going through Instagram on the yacht. I thought I was gonna be able to see something that
Let me tell you how I got gooped. So, and I can't blame it on nobody else but myself, because naturally I felt like, I should have felt like, I'm going on a boat. I should have worn boat attire, but I wore my regular outfit, sweating like a hog out there on the water. But I had a great time.
Y'all look like y'all had a bunch of.
No, it was a great time. I didn't, I didn't have any swim trunks to get into the water to show everybody my Michael Phelps and everying.
What story we're telling?
That's what I was looking for. I was like, I'm going to see him dive in and just take off.
Yeah. But
I go too far.
Ronnie, don't let him.
That was the river. He's not jumping in no river.
I'm not jumping in no water really, but yes. I wasn't able to do my Michael Phelps. But ironically enough, Mr. Producer hopped in the water.
He did.
Michael Phelps number 2. Yeah.
Oh, number 2. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, he had his life preserver on. Okay. Because
I mean, everybody did. Everybody did, to be fair.
Yes,
Okay.
everybody. It was a safety precaution.
Mm.
But he was comfortable. He looked like he was comfortable in the water. So we have to give him,
His props. Okay.
he was terrified.
He can't swim.
Lord. But no, it was a good time. It was a good time. Good fellowship, good time. It was a Black owned boat. I don't want to say boating company, but I guess it would be a boating company because it's their business. And so I was pleasantly surprised about that story within the story. And I won't belabor this, but prior to that, my lovely friend had kept reminding us, I was a little mixed up on the price, and the young man had misquoted the price. And so she had kept reminding us, hey, multiple times throughout the week, hey, make sure y'all bring some cash so y'all can tip the guy. All transparency. I was like, I don't even want to go into that detail. I would only say I was pleasantly surprised that he was an African American. So then I said, okay, now I see. But beforehand, I was like, girl, I know you ain't harassing me about listen. But when I saw who it was and they had their little business, I said, you know what? Okay, I will make sure I dig into my pocketbook and tip. And matter of fact, I made sure that I carried my money on my, like the old folks do on their like a money pouch, so that I wouldn't forget to give the money to the young man. You might have seen it in one of those photos.
It was.
Yes,
it looked like it was
my coin purse, because I didn't want to forget, because Lord knows I didn't want to forget to bring that money for that man that day. But no, it was really a good time. Really good time. I felt like everybody had a good time, good fellowship, good music. It was good drinks. Yeah. It was good atmosphere. So it was good. All right, guys. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. We'll get into this first clip.
Got the Oscar, I got the Emmy, I got the 2 Tonys. I've done Broadway, I've done off-Broadway, I've done TV, I've done film, I've done all of it. I have a career that's probably comparable to Meryl Streep, Julianne Moore, Sigourney Weaver. They all came out of Yale. They came out of Juilliard. They came out of NYU. They had the same path as me. And yet I am nowhere near them. Not as far as money, not as far as job opportunities, nowhere close to it. I have to get on that phone and people say, you're a Black Meryl Streep. You are, and we love you. We love you. There is no one like you. Okay, then if there's no one like me, you think I'm that? You pay me what I'm worth. Got the
Did that play like, was it choppy to you guys, or did it play smooth?
No,
It plays
smooth. Yeah, it plays smooth.
It might just be me, because on my end everything is coming through kind of choppy, but we'll roll with it.
Want to log out and come back on?
Yeah, maybe you need to log in and come back on.
Maybe I'll do that. But in the meantime, you guys can go ahead and discuss that.
Okay.
Cool.
I agree with her 100%. It just seems like we see it. Colorism is within, it happens.
Yeah.
I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
Oh, I said all industries.
Oh yeah, and that's what I meant. All industries. Yeah. So, and we know she's a great actress. And even though I know her name, maybe she's Annalise Keaton to me. With murder.
Always, yeah.
Annalise, she murked that role. So I understand if you're giving her the compliment of being like Meryl Streep, who I also love. Pay her what she's worth. I absolutely agree with that.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed.
When those conversations like that are had, I wonder why we never ask the person that we're looking to get become top, that could make things top tier or different. Why? Like, why?
As in, like, not asking like a Meryl Streep or somebody like that?
Yeah, like, why? Like, when everything is comparable, why is this actress not getting paid the same as this actress? Or why are the opportunities not the same? I wonder
who are we asking, though?
The people that give those opportunities and the financiers, like, why? I wonder what
they're not going to flat out say it, like, because I feel like everyone, including like other like white people, understand like what it is, but of course they'll speak around and say that it's unfair and we agree that it should change, but they won't really like take action.
Make a
like, yeah, right. Or
And
And
I
in
don't
that
even
one, I wouldn't even just say the Caucasian people. That one, we would have to
Yeah.
bring the Jews in, right? So,
Mhm.
like, why? What would be the difference? Like, what is the difference? Like, what is their reasoning on the difference?
I'm with
I think
Hayward
also,
would say. I don't think they would just come flat out and say it. That's just what I think.
Mhm.
Me too. That's what I
Yeah.
think too.
Yeah. Because there's
It
no
frustrates me because just even in the lower tier in our day-to-day jobs, we see that all the time. Me and
All the
Mario
time.
was just currently speaking about that. You know, someone where good work ethic, did everything they were supposed to do, lined that career up based off the path that the employers have once given or laid out. You do all of that, and then time to go for that position, and why? Like, why don't we get it? So
yeah, it's definitely unfortunate, but we're the more unfortunate part about it, not that it happens, but also the fact that it becomes so much of the norm. You know what I'm saying? It becomes so regular for mainstream society to just be like, that's how it is. That's how it is. So,
and you get used to it, but you get used to it as a black woman, a black man. You just get used to it.
Yes.
I got my promotion. I got a drug test. My peer, level, they canceled his drug test. Everybody was up in arms, but I knew what it was.
No, girl, they thought you did drugs.
Oh, but I was ready for him, just in case something was in my.
You didn't even have to be ready for them because you don't do drugs. You know what I mean? So, like, the trick is on you.
Allegedly.
No. Allegedly, right. But just in case, I was ready to fall out of the floor and ask for help. Just in case they found any trace.
And I hate to put it this way, but just being flat how I think. Well, what I'm thinking with that is, although they know that we're good, let me just focus on her. She's great at what she does. I'm sure that when they offer these roles to the Meryl Streep and stuff, they go to them with the highest, what's the name off top. They don't even have to ask. Then with, I'm just going to say people of color, because she doesn't even have to be black, whether she's Hispanic, you know, any nationality. That it's more so like, we're going to offer them this, and they should just really be happy for whatever we're going to offer them, that we're even giving them this. And that's horrible. I feel that's like the shaking of head. That's how I feel too. But I just think that, I don't know. I think that's how they kind of look at it. Like, well, they should be lucky that, you know, I'm asking, because I could ask somebody else to do this.
Yeah.
So what I'm putting on the table, they should, because then when she asks, it's like, well, we'll get somebody else because how dare this person ask for more money. You see?
Right. Yeah.
That's how.
I think for me, is that what brings me, when she talks about these things, what it brings me to is like when Angela Bassett wasn't good enough to win the Academy Award, but you give her an honorary Academy Award, and then she's yet still supposed to be gracious and accept that. When in actuality, the roles that she was nominated for definitely killed. I mean, you didn't see her on the screen. You saw who she was playing. I think to me, I'm not an actor or anything like that, but I think for me as a moviegoer, as a fan of the arts, when you feel like somebody has embodied that role to the point that you no longer see them, but you see that person, I think that's what it's all about. And so yes, she still was gracious, accepted the honorary Academy Award, and then, you know what I'm saying? So and unfortunately, I think it's going to be a fight.
Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, it is his computer.
It's his computer.
Yeah. Because it's stopping.
Probably. Yeah, he may chime out. But I agree until he pulls it together. I agree that like I think a lot of people don't think about the board behind like the Academy Award, like nominations, stuff like that. So it's like oftentimes, people of color, our films don't even make it to the table for the opportunity to even be nominated in those categories. So it's like, it's almost like they're gatekeeping that space so that like we're not even able to get there. And then it seems that the roles that are like where people are nominated for these roles, that's very stereotypical or, just things that don't even, it's like, how do you compare that to like some of these other films that are getting these awards,
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we will move on to the next. Mama Kim, she has a special guest today. You want to go ahead and introduce your special guest before we watch this next clip?
So this guy that you guys are about to meet, his name is Juan. I met him in Georgia from my best friend, Fungi, and Juan now is my best friend because he lives in Texas. But our first meeting was at the Redneck Beach, which is like a river. And I'm getting down there and I say, I have to pray on this, and I'm about to go back to my car. And that's how we met.
Are we bringing Juan in?
Yes. Juan in.
Hey, Juan.
Hi,
Good
Juan.
afternoon, everyone.
Hey,
Good
Juan.
afternoon. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. I appreciate you guys having me on. And Kim,
Oh,
I don't know if we'd really call that a river. I think it was just some form of kind of a puddle that we happen to be at that Fungi kind of threw us into. But
A creek.
exactly.
Yes. Okay. Well, good. Welcome aboard. And so, we've been talking a lot about the election, the upcoming election, and some of these political things. So, it's only fitting that I understand you have some strong opinions, Juan. So, we will get into this first clip, or this next clip, rather, not the first clip, the next clip, and then we will get these opinions from you.
The Democrats were the ones that were for slavery. The Democrats were the ones that came up with the Jim Crow stuff.
Even if all of that were true about slavery, which party flies the Confederate flag today?
A lot of the Democrats.
You really think Democrats fly the Confederate flag
There's
more than
Democrats
Republicans?
that, yes.
Overwhelmingly, you'll see a Confederate flag right next to a Trump flag. That's just how it works
No,
nowadays.
I haven't seen that overwhelmingly.
You really? You think,
Where?
was it Democrats or Republicans trying to take down Confederate statues?
Confederate statues?
Which party was trying to take down Confederate statues?
What's the statue got to do with,
You're saying that Democrats are pro-Confederate, but weren't Democrats trying to remove Confederate statues?
why are they doing that?
Because they're anti-Confederate.
No, they're not.
Why are they trying to remove the statues then?
Because they're trying to change the history of our country. You know what? Take your camera and go interview all these black people that are here, okay?
Yeah.
And you ask
The
them
three
if
black
they-
people that are here?
If you ask them,
All right. That is one of our lovely Trump supporters, obviously. Juan, we'll kick it off to you first. How do you feel about this?
Sure. So there's a lot to unpack in that clip. And I will tell you that is an extreme version of an individual, unfortunately, that is not well informed. That's somebody who unfortunately puts a very bad spin on individuals that would consider themselves Republicans, conservatives, because to try to make a statement like that and then hold fast when the individual that's asking you the questions on a continuous basis is trying to give you a way out and you're not taking it, just tells me that you probably don't belong anywhere near a voting box, let alone on this kind of platform. So unfortunately, it's a bad example of an individual who wants to get behind Trump in this particular instance. You have some on the other side of the aisle as well. But, it's unfortunate that we get individuals like that airtime.
I would definitely say unfortunate as well. Anybody else have an opinion?
I agree with what Juan said because I don't think
I agree with what Juan said
I
too.
think they should have probably found somebody else to interview, if anything. Yeah.
I think, unfortunately, Juan, to your point, though, that it's a bad representation. However, there's been a lot of these individuals have been interviewed and showing their support for Trump. Now, you would definitely be on the other end of the spectrum, and so you might not fall into these categories. But I would like to know, honestly, just kind of off topic a little bit, is what drives you? What is going to drive you to the polls in November to vote for Trump?
Oh, it's a great question. It's a couple different things. I want to look at the place that I'm going to be living in the next 4 years. And I think a lot of the decisions that are going to be made come down to a couple different things. I've been very fortunate in life to make the income that I make in the field that I work in. And taxes, our ability to make sure that our living expenses is going to be a critical component of it, but also the environment in which we are in. So I love to travel. I love to travel outside the United States. And I think a big portion of that is, what is the environment that I'm walking out of the U.S. going to be like, and how are people going to perceive me? Because let's be realistic here. Americans are not always welcomed outside the United States, and a lot of it happens to be on the leaders in which we have. So there's many places you go today as a Trump supporter, and people are going to give you the worst overall experience, and there's going to be some places where you're going to get a great overall experience. But for me, it's going to be what is going to affect me long term, obviously over the next 4 years. And I think often people think, well, elections have no consequences. And the reality is it does, right? It's going to affect the way that we drive our policies. It's going to affect the way that our day-to-day lives go in. And I think a lot of individuals don't think about that long term. But for me, it's going to be what's going to affect my finances first, because that's how I support my family. It's how I support my friends. And then the secondary piece is what's going to keep me most secure. And also who's going to give me the best overall representation to put us in a position to be successful. That's really what drives me to the polls long term.
That's fair. And those are all that makes complete sense, honestly.
Yeah.
You know my views, Juan. So that sounds really good, but because one, you're saying 4 years. He said there's never going to be another election. So
hold on, before you go into gumbo effect. This is why I'm glad, Juan. I'm glad that you're here. You're muted, Juan, but I'm glad that you're here. This is great. Like, we need this. So, Juan, to Kim's point, address that point. When Trump keeps saying that the Christian goers, guys, get off the couch. You guys just need to vote this one time, and then you won't have to do it again. What did you interpret that to mean?
So that's another great point, right? And I think so. Trump, or President Trump, is his own worst enemy in many cases, because he wants to vocalize a base that got him into the White House the first time, right? So let's be honest here. He was down in the polls by over 10 points when he went against Hillary Clinton. They said there's no chance it's going to happen, and then he won well over 8 points. So you look in today's environment, he sees that now he's no longer against Joe Biden. He's against somebody who can obviously speak, can really energize the crowd. He's like, what am I going to do to get my base fired up, right? Because I can't go after Joe Biden anymore. I have to go over a different viewpoint. He's like, if I can get you guys out one time, it's going to make the difference. Now, what he should be saying is, I only have one more election to win, and that's it, right? He's only got one more election that he's got to win, because he can't run for president again. And I think oftentimes when he's saying you won't have to vote again, that's the part of the messaging that's lost. And unfortunately, it puts him and paints him in a position where it's easy to say, oh, this is somebody who is going after Project 2025, or somebody who wants to be America's first dictator, right? It's an individual who, unfortunately, the messaging is not on point. So if I was his communication director, I'd probably be firing the rest of the staff and saying, hey, we need to realign the way we're doing this messaging, because I think behind the process, behind the individual and the people making the policy, there's stuff that could really help long term. And I have facts and all that we can speak about later. But to your point, that one portion of it is detrimental. And I think that's why you're seeing an effect currently in the polls.
So when you have this type of messaging that comes out, and in a, let's call it a sport, right? Because politics is a sport. When you have that type of message that comes out in a sport, and we're trying to determine who the team captain would be, right? If it was another sport, or if it was another type of scenario where what you say is what you're getting, how would followers on both sides of the parties know to interpret that part differently, based off of the other things that you've said that more align with dictatorship, more align with, I want to fix things to be indefinite? So one of the examples would be those 2 Supreme judges that he wants to make their term like indefinite, right? When you have other surrounding topics that go towards that dictatorship mindset, how can viewers be, one, how can we trust that particular line, he's not doing that there? And that's just with anybody, or with anybody's party, whether it's be a new employer coming in, whether I'm interviewing a new hire, you know what I mean? When everything else leads to this one type of event, like heading towards a dictatorship, how can I trust that what you're telling me about that particular portion, that's not the road you're going down? How can someone trust that? Or how can we I guess I'm losing my wording here, but yeah, how can we trust that? How can we trust that that's not what he meant when other things are leading to that same road as a dictatorship?
Absolutely. So there's a lot to unpack there. Again, a couple of different things here. So I would look at it. I'd look at the last election, right? Had Trump really believed he could be the dictator, he'd still be in office today. At no point did he not have the support. He had the House, he had the Senate, and he had the military, right? So, and realistically speaking, if he really felt like he had that ability to take over, he never would have left to begin with. But you go after the diehard Trump Republicans and the MAGA Republicans, that fires up a base. Why? Because they want a strong leader. They want an individual that's going to show that no matter what, I am the fighter. And I think, and again, there's another way where you talk about unifying the country, right? You're talking about an ability to send a message of hope. And I think that's why Joe Biden won at the end of the day, right? I think I look back to just the messaging differences. You had an individual who came across military. I'm the iron fist. And then somebody who said, you know what, it's time to open our arms and we're going to love one another and we're going to come together as a country. And that's why Joe Biden won ultimately, right? He gave a message of hope, much like President Obama did 4 years prior to that. But you got to be careful in some of the conversational standpoints, right, too, because we talk about like the Supreme Court, right? We've had Supreme Court justices who have had indefinite titles since the inception of the process. We are just now in the process now of the Democratic Party wanting to introduce term limits, right, to the actual judicial system. There's plus and minuses to that, right? We've had a system up until this point that, whether we accept it or not, has pretty much given the line of what they believe. Now, have we always gotten the results that we believe we should? No. And that's the realism, right? And that's when I go back to elections have consequences, right? Depending on the abilities and what you believe in are going to be the individuals that make these decisions. I wholeheartedly believe that what we're in right now is the next president, if it happens to be Trump again, is going to elect 2 Supreme Court justices. If it happens to be Vice President Kamala Harris, I do not see both of those individuals retiring simply because they want to stay with the conservative majority. Now, you ask me on a deeper level, is that the right thing to do? No, because it doesn't serve American interests. It doesn't serve you and I on a regular basis, because it shouldn't be dependent on what party's in control. That's going to make an ultimate effect on how we're reacted on our everyday basis in our lives, whether it be abortion, whether it be gun control. All of those things should be done with what the majority of what the nation actually believes in. Now, when you talk about messaging, I'm going to use the sports reference here, right? So you talk about what we would do in an individual reference if the team captain was leaving that message and how you believe them, right? I happen to live in Texas, so the Dallas Cowboys are my team. Let's be realistic. The Dallas Cowboys have not won a Super Bowl since the 1990s, and I mean early 90s. Yet they have the largest stadium in the United States. They have the single most successful owner in the United States, and they attract some of the best talent, yet they haven't made it to a Super Bowl in countless times. You often have to look back at the track record that's available for the individual, their history of facts of what they've been able to produce in the past, and you hope, because let's be realistic, in politics, all we do is we put out hope that we are going to see the components that we want to see long term. And I think in some individuals, or at least half the country in some cases, you look at people like Trump, or you look at the party in general, and you hope, there's people back there that still have some decency. You still have individuals that are going to make sure that we're taken care of, versus all of this crazy rhetoric that's often spewed out of some candidates' mouths. So, I'll make it clear here. Is Trump the ideal candidate? In my opinion, no. If I were to align myself for somebody, it'd probably be somebody more like Mitt Romney, because I believe in fiscal yet moderate conservatism. But when you look at the alternative, I have to go back to 2 things. I look at how it's going to affect me. And there's just a lot of policies that I don't agree on the Harris side compared to what I would look like on the Trump side. And we can unpack that later if that's a topic of conversation.
I love speaking with you, Juan. Like that, it makes sense. Yeah, like it makes sense. But I guess the only question left, and then I'll let someone else ask, is just like, why did we have to choose him to be the team captain for that team when the beliefs and the missions that you guys, that the Republicans want to push is fine. Some of them I even agree with. Mario will tell you for the last two elections, I'm like, I don't know. I'm kind of like in the aisle because I don't necessarily agree with all of the Democrats. But what I can't agree with is Trump and how he pushes things, how he chooses to be the team captain. So I would just say Republicans, like, there was no other candidates better than him to push the same message, right? Because it's not about the person. It will be about the mission, the values, and the things that the agendas that needs to be pushed. But why? Like, he's not like, I just feel like he's not the best messenger. And so I would ask that party, like, no one else was a better messenger. Or going back to what you said, that reference as far as like the Cowboys being America's favorite team, they haven't won a Super Bowl and everything, but they're constantly, I don't know about the team, but like, are they constantly trading players? Or are they constantly trading coaches? Why wasn't that an option for this type of scenario with that team captain? So I'll let someone else jump in.
I'm just really quick. I think that's another great point. I think you look at it a couple of different ways. We had the option to do it. The problem is you and I sitting here today. The American people, at least the registered Republicans, overwhelmingly said we have one person, and that person is Trump. The reason that is there is more individuals, and you look at it on both different sides of the aisle. He has empowered a base that has said, no matter hell or high water, I am going to the polls. And I am going to get this man back in the White House. And he has outperformed every other Republican that's come out, because we had a lot of great ones that could have done something completely different. I look at people like Marco Rubio. I may not be his biggest supporter, but he's a much better representation of what the Republican Party has to offer than a Donald Trump. But because he's built the base that he has in the 4 years he was in the White House, and he has shown that no matter what, he's going to give his opinion, whether right or wrong, that has empowered that base. And unfortunately, I'll say it here today, if he loses, this will not be the end of Donald Trump. I don't think the Republican Party will get away from Donald Trump until either A, the man has reached the White House again, or he has lost enough support. And I just don't see that anytime soon.
That's fair. Just to circle back like really quickly, and you made a very valid point about just Joe Biden winning the previous election based on him providing a glimmer of hope to people versus like what Trump was providing previously. So just to ask you, and I know you said Trump isn't your ideal candidate, but like, and you think about what works best for you at the end of the day. But what, like, for someone such as Trump, who kind of sows discourse and just division within the country, like, how do you go about navigating beyond that? Even though, like, I know that you're ultimately like choosing what works best for you at like looking aside from everything else. But I feel like the whole purpose of the leader of the free world is to kind of unify the country for the most part at a minimum basis, just to make sure that we're all kind of on a level playing field and that we're working together to unify the country and make sure that we're in a good space. So how do you reconcile those feelings?
So that's another great question. I think a lot of prayer, a lot of deep conversations with myself, because it's not easy to go anywhere and say, hey, this is where my views align, right? And I think about it, and I'll be honest with you guys here. So I voted the first time for Donald Trump. The second time I voted for Joe Biden, because I believe that we needed a different aspect. Now, did my pocketbook agree with it? Absolutely not. But I look at the breakdown of today's election, and there's some really great things that are being said, but I keep coming back to, like, for example, we just announced that the Democratic Party, Kamala Harris, wants to issue out $25,000 for brand new first-time home buyers, right? And that's a huge plug for individuals that want to purchase homes. But what we don't talk about is how we're going to pay for it. And how we're going to pay for it is our taxes. They also talk about how we want to start issuing the potentiality of stimulus to be able to revive some of the small businesses. That's outstanding. But how are we going to pay for it? There is a lot of programs that we are talking about on the other side of the aisle, but there is no clear-cut plan on how it's going to be paid for. So the only thing that I can continue to see is taxes, taxes, taxes. And beyond the taxes is the re-regulation of how things are run. And I think about like Kim right now, right? She's got a lot of plans that she's trying to do. And I think about what would be the best alternative for her long-term for taking this dream that she has and making it a reality. Does it mean that she needs to have more regulation on how her business is going to look like? Absolutely not. Because the number one enemy of small businesses is typically regulation and income and taxes. So I think in this current environment, to answer your question, is I have to look at what's going to be best, not only for myself, but everybody around, but also understand that I'm going to be open for debate, right? I don't agree with everything the man has to say. Sure. But I also understand that there is consequences long-term to how the country will run, depending on which way you go. And a lot of it happens to be with the way that we just start printing money like crazy, and we can't afford to do that.
That's weird.
Juan, I respect you. When I look at you, I just literally seen just like a flag of us, everybody holding hands, like what the world should be. I respect you and I appreciate you.
Yes, thank you, Juan, for coming on.
I am glad.
Yeah. Definitely appreciate you being here, Juan. If you don't mind sticking around, we do have a couple of more political topics coming up, so you can just share your knowledge, which is very informative, I might say.
Yes.
But we'll transition on to something a little more what do you call it? Ratchet.
Right. We know he know ratchet if he killed.
Oh, he knows ratchet.
Just really quick.
I love all around man. I tell you, or all around person.
I know this was in the first segment, but I just want to circle back really back.
Okay.
We're talking about Viola Davis. She is one of my favorite actresses across the board. And I was listening to you guys have the conversation. And I think the reality is we need to shed a light on the individuals that are making these casting decisions and be upfront with what the pay scales are, right? I think if we got out front and say, this is what the role entitles to, and this is the range that we have, because in reality, what's happening is individuals are hiding behind it. There is no reason that Viola Davis shouldn't be making as much money, if not more money in some cases, than a Meryl Streep. Yet we look at it from a Hollywood lens and a business lens and they say, where can I save money? And where can I put it back into the production? Where in reality, we've seen movies that happen to be terrible, but we've paid millions of dollars to an A-list actress. Unfortunately, most times because it's the color of their skin. And I think in an environment in today's world, it's just a shame.
J-Lo, sorry. Go ahead.
She's a good actress, so I think in those rom-coms, I think
she's not the worst. I was going to say
she's not the worst.
Okay. But anyway, but I see you all you lovely women have y'all in Hayward. Have your tresses done. So we'll get into this next clip because it'll be near and dear to home for some of you.
Medical attention. So any vehicle that will be blocking and left unattended will be towed at the owner's expense. Second of all, the eviction started roughly around 11:30. We have to contact next of kin. We know the owner has passed away, so next of kin will be in charge of what's going to happen with this merchandise here. If the next of kin says, hey, I don't want it, I don't care, please take it, then whatever. But until then, we have a legal obligation to give them an X amount of time. I don't know exactly what time it was, but we will be more than happy. When I find out, I will let you know. However, if you choose to wait here, we're going to wait as an adult. No foolishness. Go park your cars. We'll all wait together. And as soon as I know something, you'll know. Again.
This shit crazy.
Okay. All right. What do you guys think?
Y'all have a missed that. That's been on social media. I haven't even seen that.
Yeah, that was crazy. Where do we start? Because that one I want to kind of start in a couple of different places. Kim, what's your thoughts on that? Let's say we attack just overall, what's your thoughts on that? The material product being set outside, how people are lined up. What's your thoughts on that?
So when I saw it, I was like, oh, why am I not in Atlanta? But then they picked everything up and put it in like dumpsters and took it somewhere else. So I don't even know if they were able to even get anything for free.
Yeah, when I was looking at that, being a landlord, and then not only being a landlord, before I jump to being the landlord part, going back to living very close to some evictions. Never had one, but very close. I'm gonna keep it, Kim, you already know I'm gonna keep it all the way real. I'm just not gonna jump to the glorious part. I'm just thinking that's not even the way that an eviction works. So that's another, to me, it was like that video was misconstrued, because that's not even the way a legal eviction would work. So, but it made it to social media. I'm sure people will want to talk about it as far as people lined up ready to get the material. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, that was my only thought, because I was like, usually if somebody put their stuff out on the lawn, the street, whatever, you get to pick it up. So how they did that, it was just weird. Yeah. But then that goes back to all you saw were people of color standing out there trying to get it. Yeah. If that was another color out there trying to get it, they would have probably been able to get it. But because it was people of color, they said, oh no, y'all can't pick this up. Because I was like, evictions, if you telling me I'm evicted and I don't take my stuff when I leave, it's up for everybody.
Free game.
So it was just weird.
Yeah, that was weird. What do you guys think?
And don't they have to have don't you have a certain amount of days that they can't do anything with it and it has to stay in there? That's right?
Yeah, the red has to happen. The silver sheriff has to come out. That's why I was like, that's not even the way an eviction goes. So I wonder if the caption really wasn't accurate. You know what I mean? It was just a video, something happened, because that is not, or you dealing with a shady landlord that did that, willing to take the trouble. And yeah. But yeah, what about you guys? What are you guys thinking?
That could be it.
What do you think?
One of you guys, I'm sorry, it looked like I was gonna say something. I need some more background on it. That's my first time even seeing it. I don't know how the heck I missed that. That's my first time seeing it. But I guess in my head, if it's thrown out and y'all just threw it in the parking lot like that, then it's free game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I see another clip of it, and they were basically telling the people they could not pick it up out of the parking lot. They had to actually, for whatever reason, and I'm not familiar with evictions, thankfully, but it's
such a good decision maker in life.
I wish. But what it has something to do with them, some legal part of it where they couldn't take it out from the actual location, so they had to put it in the dumpsters in order to do so. It was weird, but the people were pissed because they were like, listen, I'm here, I'm lined up, get this, get my 1B, my, all that kind of stuff.
27.
My 99J.
Yes, 99J, exactly. And they weren't able to get though. But then somebody raised a good point, kind of off subject of this, but it was like the fact of, the people had no problem running down there to try to get this free hair, free beauty products. But when it comes times to rally together for other shit, we don't really do that. You know what I'm saying? So I thought that resonated with me more than them, rummaging through the parking lot. I mean, because I ain't got no hair or nothing like that to really be making no use of this stuff. But it made sense to like, yeah, that is true. We gonna band together, come down there to do, to get this stuff to get some free hair or whatever like that. But when something real takes place, where we at?
That's true.
In our homes with excuses. I can't go. I ain't really feeling that. Conspiracy theories comes up. It's always something.
I hate a conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Crazy. Yeah, I would just need to know, like Sharon said, a little bit more context to that video, because that is just not how the eviction process work. I mean, you could get a shady landlord, but yeah, they're going to be in trouble now. So the claim that you did have is now kind of going to be, adverse reaction, because you weren't supposed to take that stuff out of there. And then, once it's out of there, then it's your property. But then why would you just want to sit it out on your property like that and create mayhem? That made no sense. So.
Yeah.
They needed somebody out there asking everybody if they was registered to vote, since they was all in the same area. Now get them registered, since they out here getting hair and lashes.
And you hate to be like that in life, but sometimes we have to put some like prerequisite on it. Okay, if you do this, dangle the carrot. If you do this, we'll let you do this, which you shouldn't have to in the world today. But yeah, even with adults sometimes.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Crazy.
All right, so going back to our well, not going back to anything really. Now we're going to take a different spin on things, and some of this message may be something we're familiar with hearing from the church, from those of us who attend church service.
I went today. Hence flowers.
Me too.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, praise God. All right, let's get to this next clip.
When Obama put the colors on the White House, acknowledging this nation honors LGBTQ, I saw black folk and black preachers compromise. We got to accept it because our black president goes along with it. I don't care what president, what color he is. If you ain't in line with God, I can't stand with you. And that's what's causing y'all. Yeah, I'm preaching up in here. You're getting off with God because you're trying to stand with black. I can't vote for a party that is for all kind of sexual perversions. I can't do it. I can't vote for a party that's going to accept transgenders going into women's restrooms. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't go with a party that wants to cut little girls' breasts off to make them boys. I can't go with a party that says you can be a boy today and a girl tomorrow. I can't do it. I can't do it.
So I'll start here. And I think, honestly, this type of messaging is what drives people away from the church. And I think, and for those who stay and I'm sure with some in the congregation that probably was, doing their hallelujahs and all that kind of stuff and amen to what he was saying. However, the reality of it is this is, to me, is kind of stuff that push people away from the church. And I think I've said this before, it's amazing to me how that one thing is what pastors can hone in on and drive home and let that be their soapbox. However, they won't talk about the molestation that takes place. They won't talk about, the deacon who's beating on his wife each and every day, and she putting on extra concealer to come into service and put on a good face. You won't talk about the trustee, they ain't paying their child support. You know what I'm saying? Or anything like that, or your daughter at home fucking, like 90 going west. You know what I'm saying? That kind of thing. But you gonna hone in on this and drive that home. And I feel bad, not feel bad. I really feel away for all those people that are, sitting in the thing. Oh, yeah, amen. Because guess what? He's talking about this. But you don't live a perfect life, and you sitting there. But that's how we do, and that's one of the things that I do not like about I'm experiencing the black church. I'll say the black church. One of the things I don't like is the fact that it's the biggest hypocrite situation, the hypocritical situation. So we sitting around condemning people, but yet we do some of the same shit behind closed doors. That bothers me. Yeah,
I agree. It's like, oh, go ahead, Ronnie.
No, I'm sorry. So if he's not voting for at the time Obama, I'm just gonna say Democrat because of that. So what about on the Republican side when you have the men meeting other men in bathrooms, doing that there? Hold on, then you have your senators and stuff from Oklahoma and Utah that actually stood in front of Congress basically saying if your child is 13 or 14 and the child signs off on it to marry somebody 56, 60 years old, that's not child abuse. That's not child molestation because the parents signed off on it. So how is that okay? So if that's the case, you said something, what did he say?
Sexual
I can't vote for somebody doing all the perverted stuff. Okay, so if they're doing that on this side and they doing that on this side, let's talk about it. Who you voting for then? Because there's some stuff going on this side over here too. And they're okay with the young girls and doing stuff they ain't got no business doing and sneaking in the bathroom with the same sex and all of that. So we doing both sides. Don't do that. Also, no sin is greater than the other. Let's talk about that. Let's lay that. So if
we always just push one, but
listen, if I go kill somebody over here and you sleeping with the same sex over here, we still equal. It ain't one of these. Also, where did they find Jesus? Was Jesus hanging out with all the rich folks and the ones that didn't sin? Where was he at?
Right there with the sinners.
You hear what I'm talking
about? The ones that was waiting to be prosecuted.
Period. So, like, I can't stand that. That makes me, I don't know. I hate that because I don't like people to be judged. I really don't. And I guess my thing is, even if you don't agree with something somebody does, that's not your life. You still be kind to them. You still hang with them. You still be the friend you need to be. You don't have to be ugly. Also, let me tell you something. I got enough of my own shit I got to answer for when I go up there. I can't judge and worry about nobody else, because when it's time for me to get to the gates and he got the list for me, everybody behind me needs to go ahead and take a lunch break, because y'all got some shit. I gotta answer some shit. I'm gonna be a minute. So sit down, go get y'all a drink or whatever, because I'm gonna be a minute, okay? So that just makes me so mad. That angers me, because you have people in there that are really hurting in church. They go to church because, well, to hear the word, but somebody's in there that's really hurting that could need something, and because struggling. So you preach that, and now this person's gonna leave and not even get what they needed coming in that day and feel worse leaving. I just think that's ugly.
Yeah.
You know how when somebody say the alphabet and then we get to the LMNOP and we say it real fast? I swear to God, it's the same mentality I think that these preachers have about the 10 Commandments. Because sometimes that second one, they seem to jump over that. Maybe the fifth one, they jump right over that. Like, you pick and choose which ones y'all jump over. That ain't it. Like, just because you say it real fast or don't dwell on it, don't mean it don't exist. But yeah.
Very true. Very true.
Yes.
I think there's just a lot of hypocrisy, obviously, just within the church, just within just religion in general. So I think it's hard. I think it's multi-layered, because we have so many different religions just within the country. But then oftentimes I take issue with Christianity, because I feel like out of all the religions, Christianity is very denouncing, very arrogant, because it's always like that religion over anybody. Like other religions, it's known that, they view the other religions as not withstanding, almost, so to speak. So it's like we don't hold regard to anybody else. Our thing is above law. So it's tough. And me, like, as being a Christian, so it's just, I hate that aspect of it. So when it comes to, like, choices like that, I don't know if I agree with, like, people just speaking of politics within church and mixing it together. I mean, I guess it's, I don't know, because people are can be very, I want to say, like, sheepish in church sometimes. So they're following their leader and just going, like, they don't have the opinions of their own. So they're formulating this based on what, one chosen person is choosing to speak to them about. So it's like they're not given a fair chance to decide for themselves of what's actually going on, what's right, what's wrong. So yeah, I'm with you, Ronnie. It frustrates me. It makes my blood boil, because it's like, you're taking advantage of these people who are clearly here to, as you say, get a word, or like they're trying to heal from something, or just to better themselves in general. And then it's like you're kind of almost spewing this hate-ish or hate adjacent type of verbiage, and it's just not helpful overall.
Yes, I definitely agree. And it's enough to, like I said before, to take people off. To your point, Ronnie, is this where you go to get healed, so to speak, and yet you get there and you feel persecuted, and then by people who are doing much worse than you are. You know what I'm saying? So it's interesting. And then, the people get on their platforms, and this is what they hone in on. But I guess, you know what, all the amens, and I'm sure his offering plate was heavy that Sunday, because it
was scarce in there. Did you see the
right
congregation? Okay.
Well, so I think what's curious out of this entire conversation, Hayward, I couldn't agree with you more. I think we talk about the ultimate conversation typically is the separation between church and state, right? At least that's what we hope that's the case. And we see, obviously, that's not the event that's happening in many churches, including mine. And we all come from different backgrounds. Yeah. I think the problem that we come into, and I talk about, again, like earlier, elections have consequences, right? why is it that we hone in on components like that, yet in our own houses of worship? Because I often believe that faith is the fuel that feeds our bodies, right? That allows us to go on throughout the day, put our armor on. Yet we allow individuals like we see in this video and countless others to lead our congregation, yet we do nothing about it. So we go back to like individuals like we were talking about earlier about Trump, for example, right? Was there no other better people that could have done it? I'm sure there's other qualified people that could lead the church, yet once you have a certain grasp on the core people of that congregation and or population, it's really hard to dig away from it. And I think like you were saying earlier about the clip before, at times when it matters, groups of individuals, whether it's white, black, Hispanic, Asian, Latino, it doesn't matter. We rally at moments that often are things that really we shouldn't be rallying towards when there's moments that really matter. For example, when it's like individuals that are abusing power in the churches, right? Why don't we stand? Because at the end of the day, without the congregation, these individuals are nothing. The same thing in our elections, whether it's local, state, or nationally. But we pick and choose the battles. And we often go after the battles that are very simplistic versus the ones that are actually worth fighting.
That is true.
That's good. Thank you for that, Juan. Thank you. We should have had you on here episodes ago.
He was working. He was booked and busy, honey. He couldn't do it on the weekend.
Ron reminds me of just talking to him. Not to go back to what we were talking about before, but like when you said Mitt Romney. So it's like my cousin Kim was saying, I've never just voted straight party. There's things I love and hate on both sides. So I'm used to your Mitt Romneys and your John McCain's and but you know, that's what I'm used to. Like one debate, I think it was McCain and Obama. Someone said something very horrible about Obama, and McCain stopped and said, "Wait a minute. We can disagree up here, but this is still my friend." That's what I'm used to. So I do appreciate you being here, because that's like, it's a sound mind coming from, you know, the opposite end, but it's not the hate and stuff that you get from the extreme, from the right, you know.
And it's sad that we've gone so far away from that.
Yeah, it's a breath of fresh
it has nothing to do with policy. We're talking about policy, and you're bringing personal things into it. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah. All right, so we'll switch gears a little bit. I know somebody mentioned earlier about my Michael Phelps swimming skills. So this next clip will play into that.
You see, that's why I don't like driving on bridges.
But you got to have your windows down. And look, I told that story too. So I was watching this thing the other day, and they were saying, if you notice, when cars or trucks or whatever hit the water, they usually tip down in the front first, because that's where the engine and the motor and all that shit is heavy. So they said you need to climb your ass in the back seat, put that window down because it's still above water, and then you climb out of that way, and then you swim. Now, God bless you if you don't know how to swim.
Because your car door is not opening once you hit that water.
It's not. And if you don't know how to swim, you may as well stay fastened in the front seat. Because ain't no point in you getting in the back, because you ain't doing it but buying yourself a few extra seconds. If you can't swim, just stay fastened in the front seat. Just stay in the front seat. Now you can do one of two things: hear what I'm saying and ignore me, or you can go ahead and go down to the YMCA and get you some swimming lessons.
Wait, Craig, are you saying they should just give up?
If you can't swim, what you climbing in the back seat for? What are you climbing in the back seat for?
You may be like me, full of silicone and flu.
Oh, okay. Well, you better get down to the Y and learn how to float, tread water, or doggy paddle. Okay, this is the universe speaking to you through me.
Well, it's such a blessing I don't fall into that category, but because I was able to swim out of there.
So you say you can get into the back seat because you're gonna be okay. You gonna
listen. I'm saying that. I'm saying that. Yes. Anybody else?
Baby, I'm gonna stay strapped to the front unless Kim is there.
I'm getting to the back as well.
I'm
saying strapped to the front. To get
ain't nothing I can do.
Either.
You're
gonna panic. If you go into the water,
No, I'll happily be in the back. So I'm not
happily.
Happily.
Michael Phelps Jr.
Not Michael Phelps Jr.
He knows how to swim.
Okay. Well, I do as well. So thank you
And for those that know how to swim is one thing, but how many of us know how to hold our breath that long or got the lung capacity? Okay, Hayward. Yeah, because for some reason, yes, Hayward, I see that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I'm talking about.
You disagree, Mario? I see a little.
No, I mean, who am I to step in the way? If you say you can hold your breath that long, who am I? Listen.
Even if you know how to swim, if the lung part can't kick in, then you're dead anyway. That's the shit that we don't talk about.
That's right.
Ain't that it? No. I'll be fine. Lungs and skills. Thank you. Anyway, but anyway, so I don't know if you guys are familiar with Plies. He gives a lot of great commentary on random things, this and the third, but he had a lot to say about the recent comments about Kamala not doing any interviews recently. So let's take a look at that.
Sit on here and play with y'all too long this goddamn morning, but to Mr. Motherfucking why Kamala why she hiding, why she won't sit down and talk to the president, why she won't answer no question. Ain't no motherfucking body hiding from y'all, man. I see that motherfucking lady every day on the motherfucking news. Me, on my motherfucking TV. I don't know what's wrong with y'all, but I see it every motherfucking day. Zigzagging the motherfucking car. Don't like she motherfucking hiding me. I know what a motherfucker hiding look like. The motherfucker hiding, and they got a warrant for their motherfucking arrest. They ain't out there zigzagging. I motherfucking know. That's what you call hide. That motherfucking lady ain't hiding. That motherfucking lady is working. Y'all just, again, want to be able to tell a motherfucking black woman what to do and when to motherfucking do it. That lady got 2 motherfucking jobs. Several motherfucking jobs. He the motherfucking one that's unemployed. He should be standing night at the motherfucking press house right now. You motherfucking ask me. He ain't got shit else to motherfucking do. Motherfucking lady is the vice president, the number 2, right motherfucking now. And is a motherfucking at the top of the motherfucking ticket for the Democratic Party for the 2024 motherfucking presidency. And y'all want to motherfucking know why she motherfucking. Ain't no motherfucking why nobody hide. Media you want to say, it's been 20 some days she ain't sat down for no interview. Well, how many motherfucking days it been that Trump ain't showed y'all the motherfucking tax return? He ain't showed you before he became the motherfucking president, and he ain't showed you now. How many motherfucking days that's been? How many motherfucking days it's been that we ain't seen no motherfucking doctor the doctor who seen him after that shooting in motherfucking Pennsylvania? How many days that motherfucking been? Don't you think that's kind of motherfucking strange? We ain't seen no motherfucking medical rep. We ain't seen shit. But y'all got so many motherfucking questions for Kamala. How about asking him the $1 million motherfucking question? Why he motherfucking lie so much? Don't y'all think over 10 years, somebody could have been that motherfucking smart to ask him the question everybody in America want to know? Why you motherfucking lie so much, man? You don't think that's some shit y'all could have thought of? Motherfucking why somebody? I know motherfucking body hide from y'all. That lady is leading in every battleground state except one. Don't you think what she motherfucking doing is working?
So here, the real question of this video, and here's the quiz, the extra credit. How many times did he say motherfucking?
20.
That must be it must be his go-to term.
That must be his word.
That is his word.
What do we think about what he had to say though?
There's a lot to unpack there. A lot to unpack. So a couple different things. Let's first start off with the fact that he's talking about Kamala Harris not hiding from reporters, right? So Kamala Harris is being very strategic on what she does and does not do. And I think a lot of that is the Democratic Party saying, we now have to introduce a candidate to the entire nation that has not really been in the forefront, with the exception of a couple of battleground votes in the Senate in the course of 90 to 120 days. So let's be fair there, because she hasn't been the most out there vice president during this term as far as public speaking, but she's done her job and done it well. So now you look at a perspective like, do we really want to put somebody in a situation where we know that the other side is going to attack her on a regular basis, and they're going to pull facts from when she was a prosecutor? They're going to talk about when she was over in California. Is this really the best time to be able to put her in that venue? And the answer is no. So they're actually being really smart in the way they do that. What's really going to come down to it, though, is the ability to be able to overcome the objection. And I'll use this example. Trump often told Obama he was not born in the United States and said, you must provide a birth certificate. And he led with that until the president one day said, you know what? Here's the reality of it, and addressed it. And after that moment, that comment had no more validity to it, right? He could use it as a punchline, but the American people now realize the difference. You now look at the evidence of what you have in today's environment, and I think Kamala at some point is going to need to address it, whether it's a full-fledged interview or not. But I think if I were her team, and I think what's going to happen is she's going to give that example come the first debate and say, now we're face-to-face, and you can ask me whatever you want, and I'm going to give the American people the reality of it because it's going to show the difference between the two. Now, I don't know when that clip was taken, because you also have to be careful when they're saying that they're leading every battleground state. And realistically, when you look at the polls across the entire country, you're about a 3 to 2 point spread across all of the battleground states. So this is going to be a very close election. Coming back to our previous conversation, it's going to come down to one fundamental thing. Will people actually come out and show out at the time that matters?
That's right.
Because that is going to be the difference. So if you want a country that is going to have a leader who is trying to unify everyone, right, and try to bring a message of hope previously of what we've had, then you're going to have to get out and show your support. It's not enough to post videos. It's not enough to voice your opinion and then do nothing with it. Because I guarantee you, the other side is coming out because they know what's at stake and they're going to do that portion of it. So if it's not evident in this period yet or not. So although I am a Republican in this stance, at the current moment, I believe that given the messaging that's available, that Kamala Harris will probably become the next president of the United States, unless she fundamentally does not deliver the messaging she does need to do over the next couple of debates. And I think a lot of it's going to come down to our ability to really showcase our messaging and individuals coming out and doing that support, because by no means is it going to be handed to her, but she's in a much better position foundationally right now. But I would be careful with believing the fact that, hey, she's 5 points ahead or she's leading in every battleground state, because the reality is, according to current polls, she's losing in two major ones, but it's by a point. So that's the difference between a couple of people showing out in a district versus not. So that's just my 2 cents.
Juan, I want to hug you. I don't know. I just appreciate having you here. Everything you said, I agree with. And it goes back to when you had stated that as far as Trump, he has a base that's gonna come out and vote. Now, granted, it might not be the base we want because he gets them fired up, the wrong ones fired up that are going to go vote for him for the wrong reasons, basically. So just basically agreeing with what you say, that she has to get, people have to really get out there. So yeah, I appreciate you. And I appreciate you looking at both sides and being fair about it. I appreciate that a whole lot.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I always respect logic over emotions. I just do, and so many people in the world right now they just let out emotions, and that is baseless. So,
and then when the smoke clears, like as Juan stated, half of those people don't even make it out to the post to vote, to voice their opinions if they feel a certain way on either side. So it doesn't help anything in the long run.
Yeah.
Yes.
The logic, someone that's ready to answer, like he's here and he's giving us his side and he's answering, questions, as opposed to other friends that I have that are just diehard. I don't care what Trump does. They love him. But when you ask a question, they're not logic like you. It's, well, you can look it up, or you can, it's things like that. Even all the stuff that they go against, that they say about Kamala, as far as when she was a district attorney and everything, it's like, you can really just Google and see that she didn't lock a whole bunch of black men up. She did, but they're not going to do that. So you saying it's going to have to be brought up in the debate where she can answer it there. You're 100% right. Because a lot of people are not, because if they look it up and see that it's not true, now they don't have anything to fuss about until the debate.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
She's gonna wipe them in a debate, though. Yeah, she's gonna wipe them in a debate. I'm telling you that right now.
I believe so too. But Juan, yes, I really do appreciate your outlook. It's from a well-rounded perspective and not just an opinion-based type of situation. So I appreciate that. All right, guys,
she's gonna wipe them in the debate, not because of the politics, just because of her job industry. I mean, a lawyer is just gonna wipe you. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Debate is like you wake up to do that.
But when I say debate, I guess I'm thinking when you look at previous debates, he's just argumentative. It's not, he doesn't really answer any questions. She's ready to answer whatever questions. He kind of goes around stuff, or he'll say, I don't understand. That was funny. I don't even understand what he said, or like, I'm the best, I'm the greatest, I'm the biggest. That's how all his start, and it ends like that. Nobody's doing it better than me. It's me. Not, okay, I get it, as you love yourself, I get it, but what else?
Yeah. And this debater is set up.
Joe can barely get it out. So, that's what I mean by she's going to eat them up.
And she's put in a really good position, because this is going to be the first time in an environment where you can say it's the prosecutor versus the prosecuted, right? Because it's an individual. Now, what I would caution everyone at the same time is debates will not determine the outcome of the election, because what thing's going to happen is Trump is going to have 4 or 5 things that he's going to hit her on a continuous basis. It's going to depend on everyone that's watching how much of that they take home, right? Because they're going to talk about family values. And one of the things he's going to hit her on is around the infidelity issue she had when she was in California, right? That's a tactic that they use on the base. She can very easily say, well, of all of us here who's been married 3 different times, had the following individuals. It's just going to depend on, is she going to come across as presidential and be careful in the way in which she attacks, or is she going to go all out? And I think if you know anything of Kamala Harris, the prosecutor is going to come out. And that's just really going to make the dependent on the rest of the country on whether or not that's the kind of president they want. But I think she's poised in a really good position to make an impact and really show the country, like, here's the reality of what you're getting if you put me in the White House, which I think will kind of satisfy some of the base, because what they like from Trump is he's a fighter. Well, Kamala's the same way. You just haven't had the chance to see her on a continuous basis.
Well, I hope infidelity ain't the one he wants to talk about, because I think that's not a subject he should even want. I mean, sir, pick something else, not infidelity. Please don't pick that.
Yeah, that seems like a lose-lose, but I'm curious. I haven't heard what's the infidelity issues as far as her on her side. I haven't heard anything.
So there's a portion of back when she was a prosecutor around, or excuse me, not when she was a district attorney, where she was having an affair with her actual boss at the time. And that's a story that made it, it's been public for a while, because it came around when she was running for the Democratic nomination against Joe Biden. None of the Democrats used it, but it was out there on a continuous basis, so she was able to dodge that conversation. I guarantee you, come to the debate, that will not be one that she will be able to dodge, because knowing the way that he's going to deliver, it's going to be a big piece of it. Now, I know that you guys didn't ask this one portion. I think her vice presidential pick, I think, is decent. I think had she made one particular selection, this election would be over and there'd be no question about it. And that's including myself. Had she picked Pete Buttigieg to be the vice presidential candidate, I think there would have been no question that Kamala Harris today could start campaigning, would be the next president of the United States.
Cool. Thanks for letting us know, because y'all didn't know any of that. I know they were trying to pull out old stuff that when she was dating, but I never seen it come to anything current. So, okay. Thank you for that information.
Yes. Thank you, Juan. Thank you, Juan. So we'll go from the White House back to the church house. And I love this subject matter right here.
I told our church that we were going to start over. And yet again, I believe God said, Keon, your faith was too small. So let me blow the building down so you can build what I put in your heart. God gave me a vision, and he said we can do it in 21 days. I'm asking 2,100 people to give $2,100 in the next 21 days. I'd ask 2,100 people to give $2,100. And the newspaper did the math, and they said Pastor Henderson accessed 20,000 members for $4.4 million. Let me even make sure that that's what it equals, because I hadn't even done the math yet. Yeah, it's 4.4. I hadn't done the math. It was what God had given me. What I forgot to do, that I'm going to do right now, is remind myself that everybody doesn't have $2,100. And the Lord convicted me on that. And I went back and I prayed about it. And I want to apologize for not offering an opportunity for people who don't have it like that. Everybody doesn't have $2,100. The Lord said, but somebody has $21. And if you go back and read the article, they'll tell you that the building was $20 million. So what does $4 million do when you have a $20 million problem?
Now we all know I love a good offering speech, a good offering thing. I bring it up regularly. However, this
In the word of Stovall, that's cringe. That's very cringe.
It's an epic fail. The whole thing about it, I get it. I believe the church was hit during the storms in Houston and stuff like that. And so you set out. I truly believe you set out in the beginning. That's what you really wanted. 2,100 people to give $2,100. That's what you really wanted. And I feel like maybe getting some backlash in the midst of it is when you decide to come back around and be like, oh well, everybody don't have. As a leader, as a pastor, as a spiritual leader, you should know everybody in your congregation don't have $2,100 just to give. So for you to, and you're convicting them to feel like they need to help the church. And you, I hate this too, when you sit up in there with your Fendi, with your Gucci, with your all this kind of stuff, preaching to them, that always rubs me the wrong way, And I get it, you should be paid accordingly or something like that, leading the flock. But that's one of my rubs with Kirk Franklin. Like I'm saying, you out here doing the Lord's work supposedly, but you out here, flossing and flodge and everything like that. People don't really have that. And so you trying to give me hope to be what? Like you? Huh? And so my other problem with this video, this clip is that, so the Lord convicts you to say, come back and say, oh, give $21. However, but then it's like a backhanded compliment. But it's $20 million, and I'm, what's $4 million gonna do? Well, then fuck it, then I'm not gonna give nothing. And I myself would have picked my pocketbook up and left. But that bothers me because when I be up there talking about I'm seeing visions of 7, you know what I'm saying? I'm seeing visions of 5. Give me an offer with 5 in it. Give me out. That is the reason those type of things is what keeps me from going to the church house, because I'm like, listen. Do you want my $21 or not? I thought it's not equal giving, it's equal sacrifice. And if my $21 is a sacrifice to me to give to you, take that. But now you said, okay, I recognize people don't have it to give, but then in the next breath you're gonna say, well, shit,
it was only $4 million.
$20 million, and what's $4 million gonna do for it? Well, you know what I'm saying? Well, you figured it the fuck out, you and your rich wife, and y'all get it together, and let me keep my $21.
And leave my Lord out of it because you didn't lie on him. Because he told you one thing, then when you went back to him, he told you something else. No,
and he ain't told you nothing. Is he telling you nothing? And that Fendi and that Louis each and every Sunday? Is he telling you that?
That's so weird. I don't know. I can separate the two when it comes to like the way like maybe some pastors dress or whatever, because a lot of pastors don't receive a salary like from the church. So I'm okay with that, because a lot of pastors do have businesses, so it doesn't like that's cool. But I still don't like his messaging there. That was clearly that was a poor misstep, because no pastor is unaware that their flock can provide $2,100 in 21 days. Like that just doesn't even make sense. So it's like for him to, I feel like obviously he would have been like, hey, or give whatever you can give towards this fund or whatever. This is what's happening, whatever. But to come back and state it, like you said, then to step all over it and just kind of minimize whatever it is that people are giving. Now people don't want to give because you're saying, oh, what is your little money is not going to do in the grand scheme of things? It doesn't matter. So like that.
Listen,
yeah, that was a terrible, like
horrible. Because me and myself, I'm like, well, shit, you don't need my little piece of money, because. And obviously, when I'm looking at you every Sunday, you don't need my piece of money because I know that stuff you wearing some of it ain't off the rack. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I see your wife on Basketball Wives. She makes her appearance every season, and she's the executive producer. There's some money flowing in there. So my thing is, why y'all can't come up with this $4 million and let me just give me a love offering?
So I love this conversation. So let me just unpack a little bit here. So we've got into an environment, and I love where you're going, Mario, because I have the exact same thought process as you do, right? When did the church become a business? And why is it that every time that we're walking in, we have to be making a determination if it's a transaction, and that transaction keeps going up? You look at it a couple different ways. So that the clip, I don't know the individual on that clip, but he reminds me a lot of a pastor named Apostle David E. Taylor. If you guys are familiar with him, he's very popular with the way that he dresses. And I can somewhat disconnect with somebody how they present themselves, because in some cases, if they're on television, they're trying to do a show, right? But the reality is, in the industry that I work in, finance, if these organizations set up correctly, team, then they're covered for the most part under their insurance policy. So why are we asking for $4 million? It's when they charge themselves as for profit, which is in most cases, these individuals are taking out a salary that's more than what is designated in a nonprofit organization, that they have to ask their flock for money. And no executive, whether it be a church, whether it be a business, does not understand what is possible for their flock to be able to give, or their organization to be able to give. So to come out and say that 20,000 people can give $2,100 just tells me that there's unfortunately a greed factor into that piece of it. And I think that's the thing that turns us away from faith. These organizations all the time. I'm a big proponent that you don't need a church to worship, right? I think we all have individual relationships with God. Now, is it beneficial to be able to go into some of these organizations? Yes. Like, I happen to be Catholic, but I go to a lot of different churches. I'm getting ready to go to Kim to her church here relatively soon, because I want to experience a little bit of what that difference is. But I think the thing that turns people away is it should never be about the amount. It should be about the process of us opening up our hearts and being able to say, hey, this is what I can give. My $20, my $5, or my $1,000, or my $100,000 isn't enough. Then what's the point of we really have faith in you to lead this group?
That's right.
Yeah, I think that's the church thing and the tithe thing is another hot topic, just like the LBG community in the church. It's just another topic that has historically gotten a bad rap, and it has gone so far where it's extreme. I actually disagree with you guys, and I feel that the church is a business, just because, similar to if we all get together and we say we're going to throw a party or do a pitch in, like, the things has to be bought, the decoration has to be bought, the food has to be bought, where we're going to be meeting, that stuff has to be paid for. So if we're going to say that we're going to have 2,000 or 200 or 20 people every day, every week assemble at a place, that place has to be purchased, it has to be provided for, it has to be upkept. So myself, I disagree with that part. You need money for that. Now, how lavish is it going to be? And then the money needs to match that. So if we're just doing a pitch in and we just got finger foods, cool. When you come to church, that's what we get. But everybody here, except Juan, I don't know, likes to eat good. So we're going to spend some money. So some money has to be spent. But I think that topic has just become so extreme that anything brought up with money is just like, no, I'm turned off. But that particular situation with Keon, I feel, yeah, that's a no. Like, that's a no. And Keon, when you were a regular Smojo, did you have $2,100 you could just sacrifice in 21 days? Because often we talk about or present from where the person is currently at. But yeah, you can't forget. That's why I said in that comment, not only being a landlord now, but I was on the opposite end of that. So just making sure that we recognize that and being cognizant of that.
So just a quick comment. So we're talking about, obviously, everybody has a different point of view, and I love the fact that you're saying, hey, I do look at the church as a business. There is a church out there that is very open about that being a business, and that's the Mormon faith, right? Because they tax individuals 30% of their income, and it's transparent. I think what the breakdown here is on a consistent, 30%. Can you imagine? Wow. That's automatically what your tithes are from your salary every year. I just think churches need to be open about when they're asking for money, because if anybody standing in front of a pulpit and asking me for $2,100, you need to tell me where that money is going, how it's being broken down, and how it's going. And then you shouldn't be making me feel a certain way if I can't give you $2,100, because this house is not the house to simply hand over a transaction. But I mean, you're correct. In many instances, yes, the money has to be given in order to make things sustainable. But I think a lot of times churches also don't take, at least the ones that want to be for profit, don't take advantage of all the tax benefits and all the grants that we have to offer to make sure that, for example, buildings can be purchased at little to no income. The fact that we can do sustainability with little to no income. But it's when we want to throw these larger components that we often say, this is what the Lord's asking me for, this is what the congregation deserves, when in reality is, here's what's black and white, and this is what I'm after.
Yeah, and I agree with that, Juan. Like, yeah.
I agree.
I guarantee you, if I collect $100 from each of you and say I'm gonna have a pitch in, and I show up with finger food,
it's gonna be a problem.
Oh, it's gonna be a problem.
Even the meek, the one that is the most meek of the group, I'm sure is gonna say something like, Stovall. But I'm just saying, just trying to compare to give you that, you know what I mean? But we're so extreme with that tithe and other certain topics. It's like everything is a turn off. Everything is a trigger. So
I think the main thing that turns me off about the whole tithe and things it's not the fact that you happen to give. I think it comes across so much. Sometimes the rhetoric is that you're paying for your blessing. And that's how it comes. And that's the rub for me. You know, I don't mind. It's one of those things like, we got to work extra days, or we got extra work to get done at work. If I have to come in on my own and make the decision to do it on my own, I'm fine with that. But the minute you mandate me to do it, I feel away. So you're telling me I have to give this to get my blessing.
Mm-hmm.
Let me give freely as I want. And you probably would get more if I gave freely than you browbeat me, making me feel like you ain't gonna be blessed. You know, I'm seeing visions of 7. I'm seeing visions of 5. I'm seeing visions of 8. And
what is this that you're saying? This is something that happened at a church or something? I'm assuming.
No,
we have this debate every Sunday when it happens. When they say it,
I don't want to go into yes.
He'll say the vision of 7. Mario, look at me. He was like, I told you. Because audition.
Here's the thing, and this is what pisses me off. After the fact, so they have I do my tithe offering, and then they have these visions of 7s or whatever the number may be for that day, and so I give freely, thinking that's what I'm supposed to do. And then I talked to Mama Kim, I talked to P, and they didn't give the bare minimum of that set vision. You know what I'm saying?
They say $5.
Like, seriously? Shit. He ain't the main one. I'm like, here I am thinking
I think a lot of it comes from like just the prosperity.
Because you saw visions of 5, so I gave $5. $5, that's what you get. I'm like, God damn, I did the same thing. So I guess that's my rub with the whole thing. It's like you paying for a blessing.
But what is your view? I know this is like probably way off topic, but what is your view of tithing in general? Like, do you know, like, yes, what is your understanding of tithing?
Listen, I get the thought process behind tithing.
No. I said, what is your understanding of tithing? Not, I get what the thought process.
Let me say what I need to say, Sunshine.
I'm just going to make sure you answer the question or understand the question I'm asking.
No, sweetie. I went to a decent school. Listen, when I'm saying I understand the thought process, and I get the purpose of the tithe and stuff like that. And I don't have a problem with giving my tithes. You know what I'm saying? The Lord blessed me with the ability to be able to give. And I should need to give that 10% of my, I believe it's your gross. That's what I do. However, so it's giving back to the Lord what He's given to you. Yeah. But my thing is and I don't have a problem. Again, I don't have a problem doing that. It's when you stand in front of me and you make me feel as though I have to give more and more and more in order to get what I, get blessed. That's my rub with it. I don't have no problem with anything. I give freely. But the minute you tell me, or you get up there and I feel like you're conning me to get more, you know what I'm saying? And then and especially when I'm scrolling on the gram or the Facebook or what have you, and I'm seeing, you know what I'm saying, you here, you there, you all that kind of stuff. That pisses me off because you know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, you're appealing to people who don't really have it, but you make them feel convicted to do so. So that single mother of 5 kids that don't really know how she's gonna feed her family for that week, you're making her feel convicted to say, oh, I need to come up with $2,100 to give for this church. You ain't struggling to find no meal. You know what I'm saying? But she is. But she's sitting here convicted, feeling like she's not going to be blessed if she don't help this church out to get get the building repaired and stuff like that. And so she's doing all she can. And then now she's sitting at home, the baby's eating, bread and water for the week or something like that because she's waiting on the Lord to give her that blessing. You need to be honest with these people and say, listen, don't put yourself out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And do what's comfortable for you to do that. But the way it's proposed to a lot of people is that, hey, if you don't give this, the Lord ain't gonna knock on your door.
Yeah.
And that's my issue with it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree wholeheartedly.
That's that. And I can talk about that for years, for hours and hours and hours, because I feel very strongly about that.
Yes, you're quite passionate about that.
Very passionate.
Very passionate about that, because I just think that people, when you make comments like that, and even in his thing like that, I feel like that was, of course, at the end was a backhanded compliment. And then before that, did the Lord really convict you to come back and retract your initial statement? No, right. Yeah. You weren't getting I don't feel like you were getting the response you needed from the people. The people wasn't digging deep in their pocketbook to give you the $2,100. So now you're saying, oh, well, the Lord spoke to me, and now he's saying $21 is okay. No, the Lord told these people $21 not equal giving, equal sacrifice. Mm-hmm. He told me that already. So when I came in here and I balled up my 20 and my 1 and put it in your hand and say, this is what I got, you should have been happy with that. Because at the end of the day, what you giving? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And so, and the reason why, and I know you made the comment about you being able to separate, the lifestyle or what but my thing is this: if you're in front of me asking me for my money, my hard-earned money, you know what I'm saying? I can deal with these people each and every day, and you want my money, and I'm looking at you, and you Louis and Gucci and Prada out, and I don't know how I'm gonna feed
with a millionaire wife.
And I don't know how I'm gonna feed my family tomorrow. Do you know what I'm saying? This and the third. That's my issue with this. That is my issue with that. And I get it. Be fruitful, or the Lord bless you. Do all those type of things. This and the third. But when you are leading people, you have to be very mindful of what you're saying, how you're presenting yourself, all of those things. And in my mind, to you said the Mormons. You say 30% of your salary. Lord forgive me, I couldn't do that. But
definitely couldn't be a Mormon.
So is that like, I have so many questions, but go ahead, Mario. I'm sorry.
But my thing is I think that sometimes we in this realm of the church house, our leaders get caught up, whether they act like they or don't. They get caught up in the image of things, and they want to live that life that they probably have been wanting to live. I think somebody said, what was he doing to Joe Schmo when he was a Joe Schmo? Just in the third. Now he didn't came up, got him a basketball wife. You know what I'm saying? Not to say that's where he got his money from. I'm not saying that. He was blessed in that regard, though. But my point is we forget where we came from. So that when we start leading these people, and then you lose sight. Just like people at higher ups in companies, sometimes you forget how it is to be a little person.
That's right.
So you forget about the people that's really day in and day out making it happen. And so when you start delivering these speeches and delivering these having these conversations, yeah, you're not saying that from the perspective of this is where I came from. You look at it from this. We need to do this. We need to do that. And I get it. To your point, it's a business, and we got to have business minded and stuff like that. But I also feel like we need to get back to thinking about the people that are making it happen, thinking about the sacrifices these people are making to come here. My car wouldn't start, but I trucked it to church, and now you're making me feel like I'm less than because I can't give $2,100. Come on now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just rubs me wrong. But nonetheless, we can move on to something a little more feel good.
Okay.
A United Airlines flight was canceled and people were waiting in line to be booked on the next flight. And then a man cuts in line, puts his ticket on the counter and says, I was in first class on this flight. I need to be booked in first class on the next one as well. The woman kindly looks at him and says, sir, we understand and we're happy to help you, but you've got to wait in line like everybody else. And then the man says these awful 6 words. He yells at her and says, do you know who I am? And at that point, the gate agent picks up the microphone and says, attention everybody at gate 17, we have a problem. There's a man here who does not know who he is. If you can help this man find his identity, please come forward right now. The line laughed, and the man was enraged and curses at her. Expletive you. And the gate agent doesn't miss a beat, just looks at the man still on the microphone and says, sir, you're probably going to have to wait in line for that too. And the line applauded. I wish you all these 6 words. Have a great and kind day.
Was the gate agent me and my cousin? Was it a double duel sitting up there at that desk?
And then we would have started laughing as soon as he said, "You know who I am."
Yes.
Do you know who we are?
Let's find out. Anybody know who this motherfucker is? Because he lost his ID. Those are the people that I just want to like. I would just like cash up her $100. Shit, make her have a great day.
Please.
She deserves it. She was kind.
Yeah, I thought that was a real feel good. Nothing really
was,
elaborate on, but that was a good one. Pick me up type situation. So, real quickly, we don't have to belabor too long. Just want to kind of coming to the end of season 1. So I just want to get your thoughts on what have been or what is one of your call outs from season 1 of Off Topic Podcast.
Can I go?
By all means.
So I have a couple. I'll be fast, though. I'll be fast. So I think. But no, wait a minute. Now hold on.
He just said one.
He just said one. I put them together.
He said one.
Kim Jr.
So my
what? Because she gets me all the time.
And see, I was gonna say meeting Hayward and Mama Kim, but no, fuck that. I'm taking that back. Scratch it. Let me give y'all the one that y'all asked for.
You already got it out. Next.
Let me give y'all the one. Is how we can agree to disagree and still be kind with each other, different perspectives, or even if we don't agree with each other, it's not, no judgment or anything. And we come on here and have fun and just hearing different perspectives. That's my one.
2.
My one would just be listening into the different perspectives and then walking away from the podcast each week and then it resonating in my life somehow. And just being here in this group, allowing me to have an open mindset, because sometimes my mindset is closed to things, especially when it's not logical. So just being able to say, even though I might not go that direction, just saying, I can look at it in a different way. So that's one thing that, a highlight that I would take away.
And also,
because I cut Ronnie off earlier, but I was cutting you off to say I agree with you.
Love you.
You like 1 second. I was like, girl, I was agreeing with you. I was like, but the one thing that I know from being here, y'all let me come. I'm the oldest one in the group, and just listening to how y'all think, and when my day to day, I take some of y'all tidbits and uplifts throughout my time being here. 25 episodes. This is amazing. So just getting y'all in Indiana, we in Texas, and just to able to get together and just talk about everything under the sun. And just like y'all both just said, to disagree,
respectfully.
Agree. Yes. Very respectful. No, I like
it. Yeah, I agree. So my greatest thing is just seeing how everything has come together, honestly, and just stepping out on a limb. And you, Mario, just taking that chance and asking me to be a part of it. I really appreciate that. You've pushed me outside of my comfort zone, so I appreciate that. And it's been fun. It has been fun, honestly. Yeah.
It's good. I would say for me, I think it's just putting it into action, honestly. I think I said this before, this is taking the idea and making it what it is now. And I really definitely appreciate each and every one of you guys for being a part of it. And Mr. Producer as well, because, Mr. Producer, he's like a Jamaican. He has 2 jobs, 2 real jobs. And then he still makes time to be able to do this and help me out in this as well. So I definitely appreciate him in that regard. And just seeing it what it's become, you know what I'm saying? And hopeful for what it could continue to be as it continues to grow and stuff like that. So that for me is my highlight. Now, Juan, I ain't gonna put you on the spot and see if you and say it. Do you watch?
So I do. So I was actually going to jump in and say, let me give you a viewer's perspective.
Oh,
so I've been on since day one because of Miss Kim here. She keeps me up to date when the episodes post, and I will tell you, I have a good time watching when they come out because it's typically like, hey, we just finished recording. It's going to be out on this day. I will tell you this. Over the course of 25 episodes, I think the one thing that stands out to me in the messaging that I would leave is the power of courageous conversations. And I'll use Mario as an example. It is not always easy to talk about certain areas and be as opinionated as you are, but I love the fact that he's willing to have that courageous conversation and say, look, this is where I take issue with a piece that I deal with on a day basis, right? This is where I take issue with what's going on with my family life, whether it be Kim having conversations about family members, right? I think it's that ability in Hayward being able to take about Christianity has this bad outlook on it, yet I continue to fight forward, right? Courageous conversations are the things that inspire other individuals to think differently, but also be able to open their mindset in a much broader perspective. And I think that's something you guys are doing on a weekly basis. So.
Oh, thank you.
Juan, come on, we're
back.
Right.
Juan, you have to promise to come back.
Please.
If Kim will have me, I'll be here.
We'll have you. Absolutely.
At this point, you have the vote. You have all the votes. So
yeah, definitely.
I definitely see why I love you so much. Because Mario always tells me, he was like, you have a realm of different friends. And I'm like, yeah, you and Fongie, like, people wouldn't imagine that I have, you have. Because, Sam also.
I don't think that's the word I would use, realm.
What's the word?
I said you have an array of friends. I think realm,
Array.
Yeah. But I do appreciate that, because you have a different perspectives in your village, and I think that's good. I think that's good.
Yep.
Yeah, but realm.
See what I'm saying?
Right.
I got your number, sweetheart.
I'm just saying, I don't know if
maybe I knew when she hit you with that first sweetheart. Let's move on.
But anyway, so we will, go out on a positive note. We got 2 uplifts coming from Kim and Kim today. Ooh, I can't wait.
Inaccurate but doable.
Inaccurate. Don't volunteer me nothing. Ask me, especially when you didn't jump over me for 24 episodes.
23. Text, I could just see Mario's face, and I couldn't even see his face. I know you probably this phone like.
Should have seen my face when I received it.
Right.
Well, who wants to go
Kim,
first?
I'm gonna let you go first, because the one that I have is kind of a closeout.
Okay.
So in other words, she's saying yours ain't nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. You saved the best for last, so I'm good.
Kim, you see, they don't know.
He wants to feed into it, but baby,
they not like us. They not like us. They not like us. Kim effect. Go ahead, Kim.
But yeah, Mr. Ike was not on time today, so he better be quiet. But it's okay. So I did my job and watching church a little bit this morning, which actually really made me think about all of y'all and the times, even though I might not have been on here 25 times, but I've been on here enough, which it makes me feel like it's my job, because you used to make us take notes. But
we're returning to that.
Okay, I know. The famine will not last for long. No matter how many times your head hit the floor, remember, you are still standing, and you are not who you used to be. That's my uplift.
Great job, Kim.
Thank
you. Watch the podcast.
Great.
You ain't like that one, Ike?
Baby, when Hayward raised the church hand.
Yeah.
Well, in the words of my cousin, mine is from a very great prophet. Using the very, very, very wonderful tools of GTP. I just want to say that together we made this dream into a reality that was guided by teamwork and fueled by dedication. As we close this session, let's celebrate not only our successes, but the bonds that we've created along the way. Here's to the journey ahead and the stories that are yet to be told. And this is by the wonderful, established in 1980 on the 13th day of October, Kimberly Stovall. Cheers. Cheers to 25 seasons, to 25 episodes.
13th day of October.
August. You know what I'm saying? It's always haters in the fucking mist. It was so perfect. Who would have known? You see what I'm saying?
I skipped over it on purpose because your face was so. As a matter of fact, I wasn't even gonna do it.
Exactly. You don't know how to do it.
I mean, it was beautiful. It was beautiful, but I was like, 13th day of October. Did I miss something?
Well, now it's ruined. Now it's ruined. We was just supposed to say cheers, clink, clink, goodbye.
I said it's another Kimberly Stovall. Okay, October 10th.
Before we go all the way out, please, I know that this is our last episode of the season, but please keep looking at our IG page because we will have some things posted up, information for you guys. So please keep a lookout for that.
Yeah, definitely. Please make sure you remember to like, subscribe, and share. Juan, have you subscribed? Oh, okay. We'll talk offline because he was saying that Mama Kim keeps having to send him the episodes. I want to make sure. But anyway, I won't put you on the spot in the hot seat. We'll talk offline. But nonetheless, no, thank you guys again. Thank you. It's sacrificing your time, energy. It really means a lot to me. So I really definitely appreciate that. Juan, thank you for joining us today. I definitely would love for you to return multiple times if you can. I love your perspective. And I love your delivery. It's, you deliver a message in a way that's palatable. So it's not like it's easy to understand. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And and even to the point of somebody that made it the comment earlier about being able to have differences in opinions, but yet still be respectful. And I think even though you may have a difference in opinion in some cases, I appreciate what you're saying, and it leaves me like, okay, really, I understand that, and I take something from that. So I really appreciate that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good job, guys. Yeah, Juan, thank you.
Yep. All right. Well, we'll see you guys in about a month.
All right. See you soon.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.